and welcome to the first video on this channel. Today we're going to talk about the behind the scenes of a movie we did recently called Dream. So I have here an editor and I did the filming and also the color grading, and we would like to discuss how the process went and what were the difficulties. Well, I have on my part of story, and I'm not going to say I planned it, but I was listening very carefully. We had this English class introduction, and I was listening to what every single student had to say about themselves, and I was like listening if there's going to be anyone who's into movies, because there are like 90% of students at college are into photography, and I was like, okay, I'm trying to overpass my photography period. I'm trying to start going more into movie making. And then it was his turn to introduce himself, and he said he's working on a personal project, and I was just like waiting a perfect time to start communicating with him. And
I had this crazy idea about that dream, when one word has two meanings, like dream, it can be
synonyms.
Yeah, synonyms, thank you. It can be literally dream when people are sleeping, or dream like you want to do something or become something, and it is actually really easy to put that things together and make it seem like one. The story is about a man who really lacks dream. He can't fall asleep or have a dream like normal proper dream, but also he has like a big wish of becoming a super magician. People are talking and they say you can do something or whatever, and it feels like they give you a drug and you consume that without realizing it.
All the stuff we did on the set was DIY, so like the lighting setup, the sound, we used a couple of microphones, and in the midterm of shooting, one microphone was completely dead. We opened a microphone and like the dust came out, and we were like, how are we gonna film how are we gonna record the sound? And then I had like another microphone, but it was from a headphones. So at that point we were still very...
Headphones? Wasn't action cam actually?
First was action cam, but then we realized that it had a lot of noise.
Oh yeah.
It sounded like 90s and the war and everything. And then I opened my bag and I found this headset and it had a microphone.
But later actually I realized that we made a mistake. We should have done a Foley.
We tried to remember what kind of scenes we took and what sounds were in that scenes, and then we realized that we just couldn't remember anything more, and we even did a list of sounds that we need to record. And at that point, like my friend says, it would have been a lot better if we just went home, did the movie, see what sounds are in the movie, and then record it afterwards.
Yeah, we should actually make a list of the sounds that are appearing in the movie, and actually the ones that don't, but that just give something to the film and atmosphere altogether. So yeah. For next movies, I think it'll be much better. Well,
yes, but those are all like small mistakes that actually make you
grow.
Yeah, you make you grow. Yeah, we had to design a whole scene, and that was also like a huge, I'm not so gonna say deal, but we had to like make from a room that's actually an office, we had to make it into a room with bed and with lamp. So it was interesting just to design a scene, and how from nothing we suddenly had like a whole set. And there is an interesting story. How did we do a wall in front of the computer?
I just wanted to say that well, actually we had a bunch of boxes, red boxes, and we put it one onto another and one near another. It looked like a wall, but we had a problem with the camera because we couldn't shoot with every possible angle. We really had to watch on that boxes that actually we don't reveal the other side, that is actually the rest of the room.
So he was the main actor, I'm gonna say that. And every time like he was like, "Can I go?" And I was like, "Yeah, start action." And we started recording, and then I saw like, no, like there was like literally one part where you could see that those boxes are ending, and you could see the space, and I was like, no, we have to do it all over again. And it was a few times, but then I realized what are the best angles, and I kept shooting with those angles.
I think we still both regret a bit that we couldn't do any moving shots and things like that. That would be so awesome.
My job was to film everything, and I didn't have like sliders, or I did have a Steadicam, but that Steadicam was like very, I'm not gonna say it's cheap, it's good for the purpose that we were using it. But when I was trying to shoot anything like dynamics, like panning or whatever, I don't have a tripod with fluid head, and it was looking very chunky, so it like the panning started, and at some point it would go like this, and it didn't feel natural, so we decided to ditch the panning, or we warp stabilized it in the post-production. So I have a lot of difficulties trying to shot like dynamic scenes without any equipment, but for the next shooting I think I'm gonna try more and actually create my own slider or something. We faced a lot of problems because we didn't have like real lighting, soft boxes, anything that would diffuse the light, and we used walls to bounce it off, but still, especially in the scene when I had to shoot with a Steadicam and he was going towards me, as soon as he stood up from the chair, there was like a whole lot of shadows, and so that scene is very short.
It was very harsh shadow. We had like one reflector that was like bouncing on this wall, and it was like into another part of the room. So when there wasn't moving, it was okay, but yeah, we should really consider something else about the lighting.
Yes.
So
we are considering buying soft boxes because when I look at them online, they're not expensive, but it's just that we focus on other things. So like not just the lighting, we actually focused on audio because we think that it's 50-50 the image and the audio. So we purchased audio recorder, and now the next thing is definitely the soft boxes. So now we're a bit of experimenting. So before shoot, like it took an hour to set up this scene, but I think that it's important to experiment in anything. So if you're not sure how things are going to turn out, just experiment, try it at home. Before you go to a location, try, write down the scenes or try the lighting setup. It will actually be a lot more easier for you when you're on the set. And I didn't do that. I tried one lighting position and setup, and I thought that was just like enough. And then I came here and it's a totally different room, totally different space, and
yeah, and I think that we should maybe try a bit more, and that we maybe could end up with better result, but I think it is fine for now, and hopefully we'll have another chances to actually practice.
So how was the editing process? Was it difficult?
Yeah, well, it was first project of that kind that I edited, so it was very new to me, but first I think I did all the organizing and actually importing, and then I watched all the footage and picked my selects, and then of course rough cut and everything that goes into it. So
I've seen that you're very organized when editing. You have all in like folders, titles.
Yeah,
is that something you would suggest to people, or?
Yeah, it's totally crucial. I mean, maybe not for some smaller projects, but if it's larger project, it is actually impossible to find the perfect clip that you are looking for without organizing and without you are exactly know where it is. We had to be aired for the New Year's Eve or first day of New Year. We had another project plans in that time and actually some other obligations, so we didn't do it. And 2 or 3 weeks ago, did the narration that we realized that would help the movie to tell a better story and to feel better in general. I was really doing the edit of sound, I don't know, maybe 4 hours, 5 hours, I don't know. And in one point I came on the piece of sound. It should came much earlier than actually did, and the place that did came, it's absolutely like killer. I think it is like the main point where the movie actually goes to the, I don't know, top, you know, that top
Peak,
point,
yeah.
peak. At that point you can hear the answer of the movie.
So you're talking that how the sound and the narration you've made actually
Improve the movie.
Yeah, and like dynamics just changed. And,
Yeah, everything. At the beginning, we had that idea that everything should be like quiet and just, you know, ambient sound and other maybe like sounds in the head should do all the talking, I like to say, but actually narration helped massively. So
yes.
yeah, I'm glad we did it.
The most difficult part of recording a narration.
It was so hard to start. You wouldn't believe. I think it took me like maybe a month.
For what audience is this movie?
To be honest, I really didn't have a target audience at that point. I didn't really realize how important that is. Actually, I have now on my wall next to my editing setup one list of 27 questions when every storyteller actually should ask how to tell a story. Go check out Story Greenlight YouTube channel. Jeff Barch, excellent Hollywood editor and also storyteller before everything. So yeah, go check him out. I didn't come up to the point where I can say, oh yeah, this is it, this is something that other people do, this is wrong and that I'm different. But I think that this movie really helped me to improve and to make a minor steps into that direction. When the movie comes out, I think it will be even more inspiring and just yeah, it will be great.
When I first saw the movie, I was like, well, it's okay, it's solid. I wasn't like, it's fantastic. I mean, I was very satisfied because this is actually the first like real movie I've ever did. And just seeing that come to life, it felt like, wow. But now when I see it, I'm more hyped and I'm more happy. And the more time goes, I feel like it feels better to me. So a few days ago, you sent me an amazing quote. Could you tell what the quote is about?
And one point in time just come to my head, oh, here's the sentence. I don't want to be yet another soul on the graveyard of ideas and dreams.
When I first read this quote, I didn't connect it, but now when we were talking about a movie, it actually fits great to this movie, does it?
Yeah, but now it's more just whole creative process, I guess. It was meant to do that, but also, yeah, movie.
People tend to wait for something to happen instead of trying themselves to create their own happiness, and we're all just waiting for happiness to come, but we don't do anything.
Yeah, and that is so wrong. So
yeah. A lot of time is wasted. I noticed that a lot of people just want to see results immediately. They make a movie, they upload it online on the internet, and they expect like be viral or a lot of people to like it, but it just takes time. You have to work and be persistent, and those things will come at the end. It's sort of as a prize for your hard work.
If you don't have experience, you don't have that something that will tell you, oh yeah, just keep doing that, keep practicing, you'll become better. You just have to be patient, and to be patient you actually have to read some books or educate yourself and consistently work on yourself, and I dare you to read books.
How are we gonna close this? So we're gonna invite people to...
Yeah, of course, watch the dream, and when it comes out, follow us on Instagram.
We actually post mostly timelines of our
Yeah.
edits, but we're gonna
Do everything.
upgrade. We're gonna do
everything.
behind the scenes and everything.
Yeah. Of course, subscribe to the Film Simple YouTube channel.
See you guys in the next video. Hopefully that it's gonna be soon.
Next week.
Next week? Okay.
Oh.